Hey, thank you for watching this week's video. I'm still on the topic of back to school. Rumor has it that you've bought everything they need for school. So you've bought the uniform, you've already paid for the stationeries they need, and you've also paid for your son to get his haircut ready to start. Good on you, Mom. But is that all we need to do to prepare them for school? No, definitely not. See, those are the practical things that we need to do. We also need to prepare them mentally for school. How do we do that? Well, that's what this week's video is all about. But first, I'm Veronica Kasenga Foodful. Thank you so much for choosing to watch Let's Talk Parenting, the YouTube channel that brings you all the information you need to know to succeed as a parent. Please subscribe to my channel, share this video with your friends and family and anyone else that you know that is a parent. Please share this video with them. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think of this week's video. Now, given everything that has been happening, I'm sure your child is probably just a little bit nervous about going back to school, especially if they're starting fresh in year 7 of secondary or they're starting reception in primary. So how do we help them be prepared for school? They're probably uncertain about what's going to happen, don't know if they're going to make any friends. Well, this week's video is all about sharing tips on how we can help them be prepared mentally. So, are you ready for tip 1? Number 1, make sure you are speaking positive about going back to school. Be enthusiastic. Ask them questions about how they're feeling. Are they excited? Are they worried about anything? And then just reassure them that everything is going to be all right. Now, if you're an anxious parent, try your best not to show your child that you are anxious, because an anxious parent equals an anxious child. Tip number 2. Prepare the room for learning. Now, according to a home learning website, the environment to which we learn is incredibly important. It even impacts a child's progress by 25%, according to a study that was done. So, the best way to prepare the environment is to be organized. Make sure that they have a really nice table that they can do their homework in. Make sure they know where their stationeries are, school uniform. But the most important thing is to make sure that they're keeping their room nice and tidy, because a cluttered room equals a cluttered mind. Tip numéro 3 is routine. Get them back into routine. The secret of your success is in the routine, so says Teresa Valfoy. And she's right, because success in anything depends on the habit that we create and practice on a daily basis. So, if, like me, during this pandemic, you've been a bit relaxed about routine, like bedtime, then now is the time to start helping our children to get back into their bedtime routine. So if your child's been going to sleep a little bit late, and I'm talking after 11, then now's the time to start reducing the time to kind of prepare their mind to get back into going to sleep early and getting up early. Why now? Because it takes time before the brain can adjust to doing a new thing. Okay, so if your child's been going to bed after late, maybe reduce the time by 30 minutes, then wait a couple of days, reduce it to another 30 minutes. Do this until you reach your desired bedtime. Do not straight away start sending them to bed at the desired time that you want, like 8 o'clock, because that would be a shock to anybody's system. Tip number 4 is start preparing their mind for learning. And the best way to do this is through quizzes. All you got to do is pick a subject, for example, geography, history, Google some quizzes and start practicing with them. This will help the brain begin to remember all those things that they learned before, ready to start school. Now, one of the best ones to start with is always timetables multiplication, because whether they're going to secondary or primary, this is something they have to learn. So create a game around learning your timetables, which will really help them to remember 2 times 2 equals 4. Did I get that right? Of course I got that right. So that's tip number 4. Tip number 5. Number 5 is to have some boundaries. Remind them about what the boundaries are. Now, especially if your child is starting secondary school, you definitely need to let them know what the do's and don'ts are. For example, what time do you want them to come home from school? What kind of behavior do you want them to have, especially when you're not around? What are the rules around screen time? So make sure you make time to sit down and talk to them about what the do's and don'ts are. Do not make the assumption that they just know what to do and that they should just be doing it, because unless you say it, you can't prove that they knew it. Well, those are my tips for today, but here's a summary so you can remember. Tip number 1, speak positively about going back to school to calm their nerves. Tip number 2, prepare the room ready for learning. Remember, it impacts their progress by 25%. Tip number 3 is routine. The secret to your future success is hidden in the daily habits you practice. Tip number 4 is to practice the subjects by using quizzes. Tip number 5, boundaries, boundaries, boundaries. Well, that's all I've got time for today. I hope you find these tips really, really useful. Please let me know in the comment section which one is your favorite. And if you know any that I have not mentioned, then remember to let me know in the comment section. Remember to subscribe and share the video. I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye.